Okay, it's been 12 months that I have owned the Amazon thermostat. I purchased this last November 2021, and we're just a few days away from November 2022, so I've had it just about 1 year, 12 months, had no issues installing it. I have made many other videos on the installation of the product, how it works, the features. I could not believe the amount of views, the amount of questions, just thousands. And I thought I would just make a review video. How do I feel about this thermostat 1 year later? Well, I had zero issues installing it. I've actually put two of these in my home, one downstairs, one upstairs, and have had no problem setting them up, no problem installing them, but using them on a day-to-day basis, well, that's a whole different story, and that's why I made this video. So here's my 12-month review of the Amazon thermostat. So if you're not familiar with this thermostat, it's very basic. There's just a couple of buttons here, and they're all just these soft touch buttons, which honestly I'm not a fan of. My first complaint is that when you walk up to it, you can't tell, is it on cool, is it on heat, what's it set at? You can't see any of this information. All you can see is what the current temperature of the room is. So right now we're at 71 degrees, and if I come over and just tap up or down, I'll see that it's on air condition. There's your little snowflake. And then if I change it down, let's say we'll go to 68 degrees, it'll flash for a few seconds, and then it's going to go ahead and lock that in, and it's going to set it to 68 degrees. And I just heard it click, so I know it's on. But once it's on and it's running, you don't know what it's set to until you come over here and you hit one of these buttons again. So I wish you could just at a glance see what it's set on and see the current temperature all on the same screen. Okay, so what else I don't like is that to get through the different cycles, so many buttons. Okay, there's your air with fan always on. There's your heat. There's your heat with fan always on. Okay, there's off. There's fan only. Okay, there's auto mode, which means it's going to regulate the temperature and keep it on a certain temperature by raising the heat or the cooling, whatever it needs to do to get it to that temperature. And there's the auto heat mode. These things are better controlled from the app than actually from the interface here. And here's auto and fan. I'm not even sure what that is. Okay, here's air condition, which is what it's on most of the time. I'm going to go ahead and bump it back up here to 71. But once it locks in, you really just can't walk by and get a quick visual on what's going on here. So that's one of my complaints right there. So I will say this, it's rare that I actually ever come over here and touch the thermostat directly. I usually don't even mess with this. I do wish I could walk by and just quickly see what the settings are, but 99.9% of the time I'm actually controlling it from my phone. I'm using the smart app that you can use to configure it, set it up, control everything. And that's where my next complaint comes in. So here's my number one complaint. When I go to the app to control the thermostat, to set it, to see what's going on, I get this device is unresponsive, and I get it way more than I should be getting it. Now, I don't typically have any other Wi-Fi issues in my home, but these thermostats act up all the time. Way too frequently. Now, I've gone as far as pulling the thermostat off the wall, plugging it back in so it does a power cycle. That works for a while. And I just never know, is it going to respond or not? A good 40 to 50% of the time, I get this not responding message. And then as you can see right now, sometimes you go out of the app, go back in, and then it'll start responding and it'll start working correctly. But you just never know. And I've got two of these in my home. Sometimes it's the upstairs thermostat, sometimes it's the downstairs thermostat. So right here, it just said upstairs was unavailable, and then it suddenly starts working. So it's extremely frustrating due to the frequency that this app just simply does not communicate with the thermostat. So after having this thermostat for a full year, honestly, I would not buy it again. It was a very good price. It was a cheap option, and I love the convenience. Can't beat the convenience, but the app just simply doesn't work that well, so it kind of takes away from the convenience of it. So if I had to do over, I would purchase something else, maybe spend a little bit more and find something that has more options on the actual thermostat itself, where I can just glance at it, see what is set, and have a better working app.